Welcome back to Apex Sci-Fi. The planet Boreas is a world of ice and wind. It used to be a thriving colony, but the terraforming engines failed 10 years ago. Now, the only thing keeping the millions of people alive is heat fuel. But the corporations that own the fuel have decided that the people of Boreas are no longer a profitable investment. They have redirected their supertankers to the pleasure moons of the Inner Rim, where the wealthy pay 10 times the price for luxury heating. On Boreas, the power grids are failing. The hospitals are turning into ice boxes. The people are dying in the dark, watching the lights of the fuel ships pass by in the night sky like cold, distant stars. Lyra Jax, the ghost thief known as the Cipher, does not believe in profit margins. She believes in survival. The Prometheus is the largest fuel tanker in the sector. It is a flying fortress of titanium and hydrogen. It is guarded by a squad of corporate mercenaries and a sophisticated security AI that monitors every hallway. Lyra approaches the Prometheus in the Midnight Sparrow. She does not use the docking bays. She uses the Sparrow's silent magnetic hooks to latch onto the massive engines of the tanker. She enters through a fuel intake valve, moving through pipes that could crush her if the pumps activated. She reaches the main engineering deck. The air is thick with the smell of chemicals and the hum of heavy machinery. Lyra taps the side of her mask. The fluid chrome surface ripples and neon emerald geometric patterns begin to dance across the glass. She is not just looking for a door, she is scanning the tanker's energy grid. She sees the ship not as metal but as a map of flowing power. She is spotted by a security drone. The machine hovers in the air, its red eye locking onto her. Before it can fire its pulse cannon, Lyra raises her hand. She doesn't fire a weapon. She sends a wireless burst of code from her mask. The neon patterns on her face shift into a jagged, chaotic sequence. The drone's internal logic collapses. It spins in circles for a moment before dropping to the floor like a piece of dead iron. Lyra reaches the bridge. She doesn't sneak in. She walks through the front door. The corporate captain looks up from his console, his eyes wide with fear. He sees a woman in a black suit with a face made of shifting, mirrored chrome and emerald light. "Who are you?" The captain stammers, reaching for his sidearm. "I am the change in your itinerary," Lyra says. Her voice is a synthetic, melodic echo. She moves with the speed of a strike. She disarms the captain and locks the bridge crew in the observation lounge. She takes the pilot's seat. This is the hardest part. The Prometheus is linked to a central corporate network. If she changes the course, the network will automatically trigger the ship's self-destruct to prevent the loss of the cargo. Lyra places her hands on the primary interface. She doesn't use the keyboard. She presses her mask against the central holographic projector. The neural glass of her mask flares with blinding emerald light. She is creating a digital ghost. She is convincing the corporate network that the Prometheus is still on its way to the Inner Rim, while she manually steers the ship toward Boreas. The effort is massive. Her suit's cooling systems are screaming. The neon patterns on her mask are moving so fast they are a blur of green light. She is fighting a supercomputer with her own mind. "I have the launch," she whispers. The Prometheus groans as its massive engines pivot. The ship turns away from the luxury moons and dives toward the frozen world below. The corporate headquarters realizes what is happening too late. They try to override her, but Lyra has locked them out. She has turned the Prometheus into a silent island in the net. The tanker enters the atmosphere of Boreas. Lyra doesn't land at the spaceport. She brings the ship down in the center of the largest civilian district. She opens the massive cargo valves. Millions of gallons of heat fuel flow into the city's underground reservoirs. The lights of the city begin to flicker and come back to life. The heaters roar. The ice on the hospital windows begins to melt. Lyra returns to the Midnight Sparrow. She doesn't wait for a thank you. She doesn't wait for the corporate fleet to arrive. She leaves a single message on the bridge of the Prometheus. It is a violet cipher symbol glowing on the main view screen. As the Sparrow blasts back into the stars, Lyra looks down at the planet. Boreas is no longer a dark rock in the void. It is a world of golden light. The corporations will call it a theft. The people will call it a miracle. Lyra Jax knows it was just a redistribution of warmth. And in a cold galaxy, warmth is the only thing that matters. This has been Apex Sci-Fi. If you won't give them the heat, the ghost will take it. If you enjoyed this high-stakes fuel heist, hit that like button. Comment below. Would you risk your life to bring light back to a dying world? Subscribe for the next heist, the silent auction. The Midnight Sparrow is back in the black. The fire is burning.